Ask anyone in the world to name a golfer, and Tiger Woods is what you'll most likely hear back. Since turning pro at the age of 20 in the summer of 1996, his role in raising the profile of a sport regarded as a rich man's game makes him one of the most influential sportsmen in the world. But as the American approaches his 40th birthday later this month, he's faced by the very real possibility that his record-setting career is entering its final chapter. Injuries have derailed his pursuit of Jack Nicklaus's record haul of 18 major wins, and he now faces more questions about how many more years he will play than how many more majors he might win. With Tiger sidelined through injury for an indefinite period, I spoke to the men who have reported on the key moments of his career to discover what they think of arguably golf's most important player and what they think the future holds for the former world #1.
It was extraordinary when he arrived on the scene. I remember that the very first shot he played as a professional was 337 yards. Now that's big even today, so that was a sense of how far apart he felt he was to everybody else, and everybody else suddenly felt that too.
I covered him when he was in 1996. He was a great player. I mean, he really was. And equipment fit him perfectly back then, but he was absolutely the best, I think, from 97 to 2002. There is nobody could touch him in the way he played.
The first 5 years he was so dominant that most players would say, well, Tiger will win 2 majors this year and we'll scrabble for the rest. And some years it might be 3 that he would win.
And we took that 5 years and we said, okay, this is the basis of how he's going to break Jack Nicklaus's record and break Sam Snead's records and break every record in golf. That was what we saw. And what happened is, as slowly as this game does, it starts to eat away at you. You start missing a couple putts, it starts getting in your head. So I think the second 5 years, he played well, but it wasn't anything ever going to be as good as when he was with Butch Harmon in the first 5.
And he suddenly reached the point where he got himself to 13 majors and then 14 majors. Everybody just thought, well, he'll smash Jack's record. At the US Open in 2008, he was crocked. When he came into that press conference afterwards and he went off to have his knee sorted out, lots of us were looking and thinking, what has he done? Tiger always believed he was completely invincible. And he'll come back next year and be just as strong because he can get the best doctors and the best surgeons. But it was probably a big mistake, actually.
Y.E. Yang really changed the complexion of who Tiger Woods was, because he never, ever, ever thought that he could be mentally beat. And I think Y.E. Yang, over the last couple holes, mentally beat Tiger Woods. And from then on, you know, Tiger hasn't been the same since.
And his last 7 or 8 years, sadly, has been a battle against himself, a battle against injury.
You never say never with Tiger, because he's done so many remarkable things that no one ever thought could be done in the first place. But he can't win majors because he's Tiger Woods. And he used to win majors because he was Tiger Woods. That part's done, and those days are done.
I think the timing is perfect in a sense, because the game was worried post-Tiger. What's it going to be like post-Tiger? And you have a choice in most sports where you can have a player who's totally dominant and the game's exciting for that reason. Who can catch this player who is so far ahead of everybody else? And that was Tiger, and so we had the Tiger era.
Tiger, he trained all these kids because this was the guy in golf, and they watched his mannerisms, they watched the way he worked, what he did fitness-wise, and granted Tiger's getting older, but here are these kids now that Tiger frankly can't beat, and he's responsible for this, and he must have known it was going to happen all along.
In sports, when you have such a huge icon go away, there's usually a void, but there has been no void. We've had all these really young and very, very good players. What will happen going forward is unclear, but I think what is clear is it's going to be very, very exciting in 2016.
What's fascinating to me, given his health and situation and everything, is the Wyndham Championship. I think will be a really interesting look back in time, because Tiger playing that as a last-ditch effort to get into the FedEx Cup and didn't quite make it, but there were 49,000 people apparently turned up for that championship. And so Tiger did a lot for them. I think they did a lot for Tiger. I think they reminded him that week that I'm a pretty big deal. The other thing about that tournament is that it was won by a 51-year-old, Davis Love. And I think if Tiger's smart enough, he will take great stock of what happened there, that he cannot go out and win tournaments the way he did when he was 26. But he can still win tournaments if he were 50 by just playing good golf because he's still a great golfer. But again, 90 wins around the world, 14 majors did not happen by accident. And he's still got ample ability to do this, just accept the fact he's a little bit older.
In a sense, we have to cut him some slack. But I think it's very easy for us all to forget what he brought to the game, what he brought, what excitement he brought, how it was a privilege to see him at his absolute best. There's absolutely no doubt it was a privilege. And what set him apart from everybody else is what makes Tiger, Tiger.